So that's Barry Jennings, just on the street. He's done other interviews later on, and we'll talk about that. I'll play some of those later or next. But what was I going to say? Two things. I think it's significant about the elevator shaft that you hear that report multiple times in both the towers and in Building 7 of these, the elevator doors being blown open and explosions and people being horribly burned in the elevator shafts.
Yeah, inside the elevators.
And the other thing that's significant is that guy that equates what he saw to a Bruce Willis Die Hard movie. He's not the only guy to use those very, very same description, that it was something out of Bruce Willis' Die Hard movie with these explosions and stuff. So, pancaking collapse of floors is different than, violent explosions, bursting out elevator doors, setting people on fire, burning their skin off, that kind of thing. But we can move on, I guess, a little bit to track 7. This is a more complete interview with Barry Jennings. I think they also do have some of that street interview footage in it, but this is track 7.
Jason Bermas and Dylan Avery and Corey Rove, they go out a year ago for Loose Change Final Cut. They interview him.
My name is Barry Jennings, 52 years old. I've worked for 33 years in one location. When the Office of Emergency Management did an activation, they always included our locale. And what they did was monitor the emergency. They actually coordinated the emergency through several agencies. I received a call shortly after the first plane hit. I got there, I had to be inside on the 23rd floor when the second plane hit. Upon arriving into the OEM EOC, we noticed that everybody was gone. I saw coffee that was on a desk. Still, the smoke was still coming off the coffee. I saw half-eaten sandwiches. And only me, Mr. Hess, was up there. After I called several individuals, one individual told me that to leave and leave right away. Mr. Hess came running back in and said, we're the only ones up here, we got to get out of here. He found the stairwell. So we subsequently went to the stairwell and we're going down the stairs. When we reached the 6th floor, the landing that we were standing on gave way. There was an explosion and the landing gave way. And I was left there hanging. I had to climb back up and now I had to walk back up to the 8th floor. When I made it to the 6th floor and there was an explosion, the explosion was beneath me. Keep in mind now, it's pitch black in there. All the lights went out. So when the explosion happened, it blew us back. I'm thinking I'm standing on the landing. I'm actually holding on to a pole above us. Really? And I had to climb back up because Hess is yelling, what do we do now? I said, there's only one thing we can do, and it's go back up. Both buildings were still standing. Keep in mind, I told you the fire department came and ran. They came twice. Why? Because building Tower 1 fell, then Tower 2 fell. And then when they came back with all concern now, like, to get me the hell out of there. I was trapped in there for several hours. I was trapped in there when both buildings came down. All this time, I'm hearing all type of explosions. All this time, I'm hearing explosions. When they finally got to us, and they took us down to what they called the lobby, because I asked them, I said, when we got down there, I said, where are we? He said, this was the lobby. And I said, you got to be kidding me. It was total ruins. Total ruins. Now keep in mind, when I came in there, the lobby had nice escalators. It was a huge lobby. And for me to see what I saw, it was unbelievable. And the firefighter that took us down kept saying, do not look down. And I kept saying why. He said, do not look down. And we were stepping over people. And you can feel when you're stepping over people. This big, giant police officer came to me. And he says, you have to run. I said, I can't run. My knees are swollen. He said, you're going to have to get on your knees and crawl in. He said, because we have reports of more explosions. And that's when I started crawling. And I saw this guy fall behind me. And his comrades came to his aid. They dragged him to safety. I'm just confused about one thing, and one thing only. why World Trade Center 7 went down in the first place. I'm very confused about that. I know what I heard. I heard explosions. The explanation I got was it was the fuel oil tank. I'm an old boiler guy. If it was a fuel oil tank, it would have been one side of the building. Yes, you can use this footage.
Now, suddenly...
Now, why isn't that? Why haven't we heard that on the news?
Well, I haven't heard anything about 9/11 on the news. It's pretty sad. But one of the reasons you haven't heard anything about that on the news is because right when, in 2008, when a lot of this was starting to come to light, and there was a ballot initiative in New York State for a new investigation, Barry Jennings mysteriously died. He actually, again, if you hear the beginning of that clip, when they mentioned Jason Burmis and Dylan Avery and the third guy, I forget his name, but those are the three main people that worked on the later two versions of Loose Change, which is
All right, you are tuned in to Valley Free